Yo, what is up, guys? Your boy Salsa here, bringing you guys a video about my Super Quantum deck profile for the new year 2019. Now, this is one of my favorite decks of all time, and playing this deck was pretty much like being like a newborn baby. I didn't know what to do with this deck. Of course, I knew like some of the cards, like Predaplant Engine, Brilliant Fusion Engine, and then I was like, man, these cards are not that good on their own. So I thought of putting in the Danger Engine. I know a lot of people are just like tired of the Danger Engine, like, oh, so degenerate. It was in the FTK and stuff like that. But you need to play stuff like this. I don't think you really need to play it, but you just need to play really good engines that you can discard with your, super quantums and have them be a way to get to your Xyz, like a level 4, level 3, a level 5. So you can go into your red layer, your blue layer, and your green layer XYZ. So that is why you want to play the dangers as well as the PK engine, because they are level 3. They get effects when they're in the graveyard, as well as the PK trap. You get effects when they're in the graveyard, and then Shade Brigandine is a level 4, so you can make the Super Quantum Mech Beast, Arrow, Burros, whatever it's called. But yeah, that is why you play these engines. And then the Predaplant engine is pretty self-explanatory. You want to get to Brilliant Fusion, and then you can make Sorry Just Gold Dread, which is pretty cool. And then in this deck, you can pretty much chain block any card in this deck. Like, you just pretty much chain block, because all of your effects trigger in the graveyard, all of your effects trigger on the field. Like, there's so many chains and effects that are going on that you just chain block when you activate Skull Dread. They can't like Gamma, they can't like Ogre, they can't Ash it, because they chain block it, and then you get the draw 4 easily. So this deck is pretty strong, it's pretty consistent. I say 50 cards is the minimum you can play. You could probably play 60 if you wanted to, but you just have to play 50 because there's so many engines you have to run in this deck, and then drawing your bricks is just really bad, so you don't want to draw them. Even if you draw them, it's not that bad if you draw Soul Charge. Like, Soul Charge is the key card in this deck. Like, if you don't draw Soul Charge, unless you have a really broken hand, you're not going to make Magnus turn 1. I'm pretty sure, and that's why we have cards to support that. So let's get started with the cards. We play 1 Gemini Garnet. Obviously, we need that for Brilliant Fusion. 3 of the White Layer. This card is so good. It gets you to your Alphan, and it just sets up your graveyard to where you get to send cards, and then it gets special summons itself by sending a non-light Super Quantum from your hands to the graveyard. This card is nuts, alright? This card is the reason why this deck is viable again, at least. It's a pretty, good rogue pick if you want to just like Magnus turn 1. If they don't have Kaijus or something, you just win anyway, right? So White Layer is super, super good. And it's level 7, so you could probably put in Tomahawk in here. I had Tomahawk in the early build of this, deck list, but I took it out because it's not enough space. 3 Danger Nessie. This is like the best danger card because it adds a danger when it's discarded, and it special summons itself, so it's really good. 3 Red Layer, obviously pretty standard for a Super Quantum list. This lets you special summon a monster from the graveyard when it's in the graveyard or sent to the graveyard, obviously. And when it's normal special summon, you get to add 1 Super Quantum card from your graveyard to your hand. So this card is really good. Super Quantum Green Layer, you can special summon this card, or normal special summon, and you get to special summon a Super Quantum monster from your hand. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to discard a Super Quantum card to draw 1 card. So this card is really good. It's the worst out of the 3, but it's still needed at least 2, because you're going to be summoning monsters from the deck pretty consistently with the Alphan and stuff. You're going to be sending cards to the graveyard as well. So that's pretty good. 1 Trick Clown for the Brilliant Fusion Engine, then 1 damage, 1 hat trigger. This is pretty standard for a Brilliant Fusion Engine. 3 Snack. Obviously, Snack is really good. You get to special summon itself either way with its effect. It's a level 3. You can make the blue XYZ. I'm not even going to say the name because I just don't remember. Grand Pulse. That is the name. 3 Blue Layer. This card is really good. It's the searcher of the deck, and when it sends to the graveyard by a card, well, if it's sent to the graveyard anyway, you get to target up to 3 Super Quantum cards in your graveyard and shuffle them back into the deck. This is how you recycle your cards back into the deck, so you don't like deck out, or you don't run out of materials for, or monsters for your Alpha. Then we play 3 Orpha Scorpio. This is for Brilliant Fusion. It gets a monster, pretty much gets 4 monsters on the field, and then you can go on the Skull Dread. So this card is really good. Cobra for adding Poly. Well, Brilliant Fusion is our Poly for the deck. And then it can special summon itself. Well, it gets special summoned by the Scorpion. So that is really, really good. The 1 cloak and the 3 silent boots. This is for the PK link, or you could just use it as discard fodder. You could send it to the graveyard with the ship or the danger cards, or just any other way. You could just send this to the graveyard, get free advantage, and it's just really good. It's level 3 as well. This is level 3. You can add the PK traps from your deck to your hand. Just really, really good. And then we played 3 Danger Jackalope. This is the, well, 3rd best danger monster because you can special summon a danger from the deck in the defense mode. So you can summon like a snake if you need a level 3. You can summon Nessie if you really want to, but 3 Jackalope really, really good. We play 3 Alphan. This card is really good. You could target up to 3, Super Quantums in your deck, and your opponent rolls a die or whatever. They randomly choose one of them. They special summon it, and it's really good. The first effect doesn't really matter. You're not going to be resolving the first effect at all, really. Like, maybe in some niche scenarios, but like for the most part, you're going to be using the second effect to special summon a Super Quantum and sending the rest to the graveyard. So this card is really, really important. That's why White Layer is so good in this deck, because you can search this and then special summon it, or normal summon it. So yeah, that's really good. Soul Charge is one of the most important cards in this deck because you're not going to be making Magnus turn 1 if you don't have Soul Charge. Obviously, Soul Charge is really, really good. It just sets up your, well, you set up your graveyard and then you Soul Charge for everything. You go into your XYZs and then, go into the Great Magnus. So this card is very, very mandatory. If we had more cards like Ito to 3 and other cards to 3, like Reasoning and stuff, maybe we don't have to play, Soul Charge Turbo. But yeah, Soul Charge Turbo is the only way to play this deck, really, unless you draw a insanely good hand. 1 Reasoning because everything in your deck is like different levels. 1 Foolish because you can send the White Layer and then get the effect to add an Alpha into your deck to your hand. You can also send in a lot of other stuff like the Super Quantums or like Trick Clown or any of the Perform Mages to get their effects. So Foolish is really good in this deck. 3 Left Arm Offering. This is mainly for Soul Charge because you want to have Soul Charge in your hand. If you don't draw it in your first turn or without Skull Dread, you want to search it. So Left Arm Offering is super, super good. And with all this adding in your deck, you're always going to have 2 or more cards in your hand for left arm. So it is really, really good. 1 Itelli. This is for your blue layer. Really, really good. You get Search. Really, really good. It gets a level 3, and you don't have to use a normal summon. 3 Brilliant Fusion. This is for your Seraphonite. Obviously, really, really good. Then 3 of the ship. You want to draw this. You want to have this in your hand. This is the way you make Magnus. This is the way you make the XYZs. So this card is very, very viable. 1 Shade Brigandine. Obviously, you're not going to be using this. This is not like a Warrior Turbo where you just need the Shade Brigandine or a Warrior in your hand to make like Summon Sork and Oswald and stuff like that. You just only need 2 Flog Blades. This card is really, really good because you could just set these with your Great Magnus, and it's just really, really strong. So you have a effect negation, and you can have a pretty much a mistake, and a card that's unaffected, a Towers, and you have a once per turn Castel in your opponent's turn. So it's really, really, really strong. Then for action deck we play Seraphonite, obviously Great Magnus, really strong card. These 3 are pretty underrated. If you're going second, like you can break boards. Like you can pop a card with this, well, spell a trap card. You can pop a monster with this. You can put something face down. Really, really good cards. But you mainly are going to use these for Great Magnus. I tried to play like 2 of each of these, of the XYZs, but not enough space. 1 Bull Sword because it allows you to OTK and stuff like that. It's a really strong link. 4. 1 Sergeant Skull Dread, just for drawing into your Soul Charge or any other cards you really need. 1 Topologic Trisbania. This card is a really, really good generic link 3, and it gets to blow up cards on the field. Well, spell and trap cards, obviously. And that is really good because you don't want to deal with, random back row. Because random back row decks are just really annoying. 1 Summon Sork because you can make it with the Reproducus and just other ways, but mainly it's with the Reproducus. But Summon Sork is just a really strong and powerful link 3. one Nightmare Unicorn, and one Nightmare Phoenix. This is just for removal. One of the Rusty, because we do play the PK engine. One of the Space Insulator, because it's a Dark Link 2. And I should play 2 of the Police Patrol, but you could honestly, it doesn't really matter which one you can go for. You can probably play 2 of these, but I like having this just to go into the PK link if I do need to. One of the Police Patrol of the Underworld, because it has 2 bottom arrows, bottom left, bottom right, so you need that for the Great Magnus. And then one Reproducus. This card is really good for Summon Sort. It's good for other reasons, but just mainly for Summon Sort. So hopefully you guys enjoy this deck profile. I do have a side deck though, you know, pretty standard. It will change pretty much when the ban list comes out in like January or February or somewhere like that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. I'll show some replays in the next video, so stay tuned. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm out. Peace.